Today we take the deep dive into the world of outdoor social swimming, a thrilling and fulfilling way to swim outside with friends. But why is it so popular? What are the benefits? And how can you join in on this fun? We've got all the answers you need, thanks to our special guests who embody the social and selfless spirit of the swimming community. We'll explore their personal journeys, uncover their motivations, and discover the most important aspects of their social swimming experiences. So tune in and get ready to be inspired to take the plunge yourself. Welcome to the MYSWIM podcast. MYSWIM is every person's personal adventure in the water, whether it's learning to swim, wild swimming, channel swimming, winter swimming, another aquatic sport like water polo, synchronised swimming, triathlon, or something social with friends, the best kind. And everything in between, your happy place, your aquatic adventure. And together we can explore it. For hundreds of years, swimming has been recognised as a therapeutic activity for physical ailments, but it's only in recent times that the mental health benefits of being part of the community have been understood. Today we are focusing on the popular activity of outdoor social swimming, and we've got two amazing guests, Sue Woodcock and Deb Vine, who I have been fortunate to know for many years. And for me, they embody the positive energy and enthusiasm of this type of swimming. Their love of the water is matched only by their passion for supporting others in their outdoor swimming adventures. Join us as we explore the headline benefits of the outdoor social swimming and learn how to get involved in this amazing community. We'll be covering various types of social swimming in future episodes, but for now, get ready to be inspired by the infectious love of swimming from our special guests. We are pleased to offer the chance to display your passion for the aquatic adventure. With every episode of our podcast comes a unique MYSWIM design that reflects the essence of the topic discussed. These designs are exclusively available on our website, myswim.uk, and each purchase you make helps keep the podcast going and promote our shared love for all things aquatic. It's an exciting journey, and we would be honoured to have you join us by wearing our designs and showing your love for the individual MYSWIM. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to being part of your aquatic adventure. Well, welcome Deb and Sue to the MYSWIM podcast, and thank you for coming along to help us understand a little bit more about outdoor social swimming.
It's a pleasure to be here, Nick. I'm very, very honoured to be invited.
When I think of this outdoor social swimming and that everything it encompasses, it's you two. So
thank you.
Yeah,
that's nice.
it's a great community with so many people who put so much into it. I've got so many questions, but before we get into any of those, can you tell us a bit about your backgrounds? Because I know you've got a variety of backgrounds coming from different ways that have come to outdoor social swimming.
Okay, I grew up in Rhodesia, Zimbabwe now, and I swam for Zimbabwe international level, and then came over to Millfield School over here as a scholarship swimming, and swam at a high level here. I was in top half dozen odd for a few events, and then quit at 17, 18, because in those days there was options. It was education or swimming, not both. So, and I didn't swim again till I was 45. And midlife crisis, what can you do? So got in a pool and thought this is fantastic. Got back into Masters, met Sue at Masters, Epsom District, then did Europeans, Worlds. We went into open water swimming, and then I took that. I also set up a swim school and then became a teacher, a coach, and I'm now a tutor.
Yeah, full spectrum, that's
full
fantastic.
Spectrum.
So my experience is completely the opposite to Deb's, and this is a great thing about swimming and meeting swimmers. So I grew up in the Black Country, Dudley girl. Didn't go to a swimming club, couldn't really afford it, and it was my dad that taught me to swim. He used to take us to Brierley Hill baths every Friday when he wasn't working, and he taught me how to swim. Apparently I was swimming by the age of about 3, which was great. But it was always play swimming and then lots of fun on holidays in Woodcock and all that sort of thing, bodyboarding. I just really enjoyed the water, but I never did anything with it. I did all my badges at school, like my gold, silver and bronze and all that, 1,500 metres, all that sort of thing. but never really did anything with it. And then moved to Epsom and had children. And it was when I had my second child, Finn, talking to one of the mums at the school gate, and she suggested the idea of Epsom District. So I went and swam with Epsom District, which is where I met Deb. And then through Epsom District, you meet all these different people from many different walks of life who are all doing these different crazy things. And then that prompts you to have a go at things. So I met a woman who was a triathlete, who'd done an Ironman. I'd never heard of an Ironman before, but that really gripped my interest. And then as a result of that, I got into triathlon myself. And that was my introduction to open water swimming.
Right.
And then 15 years ago, something like that, suggested to Deb, let's go and try and do a swim trek holiday,
right,
just for 2 days down the River Thames.
Yeah.
And that was a bit of a shock to the system, getting changed on the side of Buscott Dock without any changing rooms and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the kind of introduction to open water.
So social swimming is wide ranging, but the outdoor social swimming seems to have really taken off in the recent years. Why do you think that might be?
I think COVID had a lot to do with that. We're all locked in. We can't go anywhere, do anything. All the swimming pools were closed and people needed something. So there was lakes, there was rivers, ponds.
We discovered Chertsey Mead, didn't we? And when you could meet up as two people.
Yeah, I mean, you could also include in that all the pop-up pools. They're outdoors that everyone was putting up in their gardens. Just desperate to swim.
That's right, you reminded me now.
Tied to a tree with a bungee.
There was loads of videos on that, wasn't there?
Yeah.
What's been your most memorable experience that you've both had while outdoor swimming, and how does it make you feel?
There's been a lot.
It's been a lot.
Yeah, I think first one that really stands out as being just a beautiful, beautiful swim was in the Lake District in Easdale Tarn. That was incredible. And I was so impressed with Deb, because I used to wear a wetsuit then, and Deb just went, I'm not swimming, I'm taking my wetsuit off. And I was like, wow, that's so brave.
Oh, you were in a wetsuit at that time, though?
Yeah.
Well, we were in wetsuits.
It was 2010. It was a long time ago. Thank you.
So who do you think outdoor social swimming is for, then?
It's for everyone, isn't it? It has to be for everyone. I think there's clearly people have to take a rain check on health and what they can and can't do, because it is outdoors and there is risks, but there's everything to risks in life.
No, I don't think it really. You can be an endurance swimmer, or I mean, now that you know where we go now, and when we swim together, there are people and they just dip. That's all they do. They just go in and they dip, go up to their shoulders, and they get that hit from the cold water, and then there's all of that sort of social interaction that goes on. So I think as long as you're aware of the dangers and you're aware of things like hypothermia, and you haven't got any heart risks or anything like that, you know, if you're mad enough to try it, I think it's probably for you.
Yeah. So what do you think the benefits are?
It's social, isn't it? I think the huge benefit of social. There's a big thing about mental health. There's a lot of research going on about the mental health benefits, but physically there's benefits too. You know, you're out in the fresh air, you're getting exercise, you're meeting other people socially.
I think that's a big part for me when I've seen the posts and the stories that you guys involved with. That it's those conversations on the way to the swim and while you're in the swim. You seem to really have a great time.
I mean, I can't talk about it without not smiling. It always makes me smile just sort of thinking about it, really. And it's also, you know, if you've had a really tough week at work, and particularly when you're swimming through the winter and it's really cold, and as you're driving down and you're thinking, what on earth am I doing? And there's this great anticipation about actually getting into the cold water. So that starts to fill your mind, and any worries about work start to sort of get pushed to the back of your mind. And so then you've got this anticipation about getting into the water, and then we all look at it and it's like, shall we get in? It's like, well, we're here now, we might as well do it. And then you get in, and then there's that crazy time when it was less than 1 degree and we were picking up big blocks of ice, and you could... You know, we broke a channel and stayed in for about 5 minutes. And
whose idea was that then to go? No, mine as well.
Deb's probably.
we have various WhatsApp groups. You know, you have your Friday Frenchums and your sort of Chertsey Meads, and it's anyone up for a swim. and either people are or they aren't.
That's brilliant.
You know,
That's really good.
And it's just like, and when you're in at that temperature, it feels it's about survival. It's like, and then you get out and it's like, I survived, and now for the cake.
So how do you actually approach something like getting in on when the temperature's like that? You know, is it off we go?
I think we all have our own different approaches. I get in quite quickly. I don't mess around. I just get in because I've got this. My feeling is that it's going to be painful, so I'm not going to delay the pain. I'm just going to get in and get on with it. But then that's probably quite a boring way to approach it, because the people who scream and shout a little bit are way more entertaining.
and I'm a faffer.
Take a while to get in.
I like to get the bottom half kind of numb, and then move on the top half.
That's interesting. Different tactics.
And by the time Deb's in, I'm getting out.
And then Sue's well gone. But,
how long did you stay in there then, or -1?
It was 5 minutes. That was it.
Still time.
It was no longer than that, was it? And
it's not
cold.
for newbies.
No.
Yeah.
You need a bit of experience to deal with that, and definitely be with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this time of year now, you can stay in. I mean, as you'll know, you can just stay in and swim now at this time of year, with the lakes are up to about 17, I guess, at the moment. But I think you still need to be aware of the cold, and if you're not used to it, got to be careful.
Yeah, as you say, it's those tactics of getting in, I think, are probably the barrier for most people wanting to try it, because it's that thought process of I know what cold feels like, so why would I want to get into the cold? But once you're in, and once you've learnt those tactics, I found that's where the joy comes in after that.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and it's no. I mean, the first couple of minutes is uncomfortable whilst you're acclimatising, and you've got great technique where you roll over onto your back and get the back of your neck wet.
Yeah, the general learning is to control your breathing before you get in. If you can do that, then you can get into any temperature of water. But it's controlling your breathing, and then just go in slowly, dip the shoulders, roll onto your back, and then wet your face and kind of roll over and get swimming. But learnt a fantastic technique from our very first open water. We went on a Thames weekend, and we had this mountain of a guy called Jerry, who apparently had swum the channel, I think, 11 times. But he was our guide, and he just said, right, one piece of advice, everyone, your first 50 strokes, you blow out hard and long, and that keeps your lungs elastic. And
really
focuses your mind, and it works. It genuinely works.
Yeah, I must have heard that from somewhere, because that's probably about the only bit of cold water advice that I can ever give. Is that when you do those first strokes, nice and fast, blowing out hard. Because I heard that sort of because your body wants to hyper,
and that's when people get into trouble.
And that's right. Yeah. Whereas if your mind's on blowing out, then you got a chance. So
you avoid that cold shock of that, like a vice, kind of just instantly.
And also the other one, bringing it into the social side, is swimming at least in pairs.
Oh gosh, yeah, always, yeah, always.
Yeah.
Solo swimming is not a good idea,
particularly in those temperatures.
No, definitely not.
Yeah,
Definitely not.
So if you go down on your swims, then how many of you? Roughly.
Depends who's around, doesn't it? And who responds to the call.
I guess COVID kind of set up nationally, certainly, maximum groups of 6. So
of course,
that's, I suppose, what we tended to do, and how many we tend to have, up to about 6. Not often more than 6. Usually 3 or 4 people together. But there are some groups around that are big.
And often you get to these places and there are other swimmers there as well. So it's not just yourself now, you know, it's sort of, there'll be other groups of people having a dip and catching up with a friend. So it depends what time of day you go, but yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it gives you another set of people to go swimming with as well. So what misconceptions do you think there is around outdoor open water swimming?
Probably the one that smacks me in the face is the feces in water or dirty water.
Yeah.
That people seem to think the rivers, you know, are, I don't know, filthy. When you swim in them, mostly you don't notice or see anything. It's, you know, you have to be careful when you swim and the weather.
Yeah.
Shows you our difference here. All I could come up with was it's not compulsory to wear a woolly hat.
Oh, is it? Oh, hang on, I'm going to make a note about that because I thought the two bits that were compulsory were three bits that were compulsory were you had to have a woolly hat, you have to eat cake, and you have to own a dry robe.
Absolutely, yeah. Or an equivalent. There's a lot of variations.
You've got to have a lot of loose, warm clothes you can get on quickly.
Yeah.
And so, so is it a misconception that you have to be stylish to be? No one's stylish if you're an open water swimmer. No. It's just
fun,
clothes to put on that are easy and warm. Yeah.
That's probably how I got into it. That's pretty.
Your natural look.
Yeah.
What do you think some of the most important pieces of equipment are then?
Ooh, toe float.
Yeah.
Definitely a toe float.
They have been coming into it a lot more though, haven't they, toe floats?
Yeah. Toe float and a bright cap. Anything bright coloured.
Right.
And the ones that are seen the best is yellow, bright green, pink. Those are probably the best. White is not good, but be seen. There's a lot of other water users.
Yeah.
Equipment.
Swim booties sometimes, because if you're going into, sometimes you're not quite sure what's going to be on the bottom, particularly if you're swimming in a river.
Rivers and lakes, I'd say I would nearly always wear some kind of shoe type, water shoe. You just don't know what's in there.
Though saying that, I haven't really come across a lot, but it's just useful to wear.
And then other bits of equipment. Obviously, you've got your wetsuits, your neoprene hats. So
whatever makes you feel comfortable, really, to be in the water. And there's no right way, whether it's wetsuits or skins, whatever you need to wear to enjoy it, to get in there. There's no hierarchy of cool outdoor swimming. It's just whatever feels good for you, really.
Do you guys wear goggles when you go?
Yep.
You do?
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of social swimming with woolly hats.
Yeah.
Tend to, don't need the goggles, do you? Your head's not going in the water. So.
Yeah, so it depends how you swim. I mean, when we go, we normally go and we swim, and we do a lot of gassing on the way back.
Yeah.
But usually, like if you're swimming in a river, we'll usually do the first bit, proper swim, and then have a good gas with goggles off on the way back.
That's proper swim. Front crawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of people do breaststroke.
So it's a great
but if you get
swim.
what I'd say is if you get in goggles, get polarized or mirrored.
All right.
Because for daytime swimming, the glare on the water can really, really damage your eyes. And so it's good to have something that's polarized.
That's really good.
Not good for night swimming, but majority of social swimming we don't do at night.
Yeah. I suppose you could look at that as a potential risk because you get the shine off the water as well. You get it twice, don't you? You get from the sunlight and bouncing off the water, which is one of the reasons why I started every now and again when it was bright sunny days and I was doing long hours was I put a lightweight t-shirt on. I swam in. Nothing to do with heat, nothing to do with those, and I had to be careful they didn't rub when I'm doing the long stuff. But that was because of obviously having trouble with potential moles and things on your back.
Yeah, good point.
And you get a lot of sun, and one of the unfortunate things is melanoma's on the rise, and there's always whatever you can do to protect against that. You can put the sun creams on, but if you can cut it out altogether, and it's only training. The reason why I didn't find it a problem because in my old days when we were doing the polo training, in the winter we used to train in t-shirts for drag. For additional effort, so that when you took your t-shirt off, it felt like you were flying. It was a lovely feeling. So while you're training, it's good. I quite liked it, but you have to be careful it doesn't rub.
But you are really, really right about protecting your back because there's a lot of skin surface exposed there, and if you're in the water for a long time, you are at risk. So if you think you're, just put a rash vest on. Good idea.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When can we do the outdoor swimming? I think I know what your answer is going to be. Christmas Day, New Year's Day. Just socially, when's it start to build up? When's the best time? When's when most people want to join in, and you don't have any trouble when you pick up the phone to someone and say, "You coming out swimming today?" Oh no, I'm doing my hair.
About now, like a weekend like we've got coming up now, and the temperatures now.
Yeah,
so we're in the end of May.
The main season is May to September, beginning of May to end of September. It's still quite chilly, but the water's now warming up fast. So we're getting into the real proper season now. Where
some of the lakes are shallower than others, and they seem to heat up different times. Because you see different temperatures coming up around the lakes, don't you? And that can only be the depth of the lake, I suppose.
Yeah. They also go down quicker though as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how do people find a safe place to swim?
Well, there's the. I was looking at a couple of websites before I came because I thought you might ask that. So, but you would probably mention these anyway, Deb. Is it the Outdoor Swimming Society?
Outdoor Swimming Society is probably the number one spot to go and look.
Oh, right.
And also,
what do they do? Do they list them there, or
they have a map?
Oh, we've got a map of them.
They have a map, and you can click on anywhere in the country. It's probably gone worldwide for all I know now.
And there's also Swim England Open Water at swimming.org.
Okay.
I was looking at that earlier on as well. Yeah. So both of those list places where you can go and swim safely. Yeah. And I think Swim England Open Water lists outdoor Lidos as well, I think. Because they're good starting points, aren't they, if you want to get into outdoor swimming?
I would say the Outdoor Swimming Society is the main one, because through that also they will list a lot of the Facebook and the open water. There's a lot of outdoor swimming groups, and they will list them. For instance, I know and the OSS, Outdoor Swimming Society, Maidenhead and Windsor, or Windsor and Maidenhead, one of those way around. They list those. And the other thing is, if you do Facebook, I know it's just for us oldies really nowadays, but if you go on there and you just put open water swimming, Cornwall or Devon, there are groups that will pop up.
I'll tell you what,
everywhere.
I'll put the links in the show notes so people can pick up on those. And I picked up a few others, potential ones from around the world, of some of the main ones that if people want to get into the social side of open water swimming or outdoor swimming, then that will give them a start in their regions.
That's actually a good point, because there's a Facebook group called Did You Swim Today?
Oh yes.
And that's incredible. I went to New Zealand a few years ago, and I just went on Did You Swim Today and said, I'm in Wellington, is there anyone around? I can see a harbour and a beach. And it was an hour or something, and someone popped up, said, yeah, swimming there tomorrow, do you want to join?
Oh, fantastic.
You know, and that's the beauty of open water swimming as well. It's
it is.
Socially, it's fantastic. Internationally.
Yeah, that's excellent. What do you see as the biggest challenges that outdoor swimming faces as it starts to grow? What do you think some of the challenges were?
I mean, the thing that comes to mind where we swim on a Friday it's a bit like the roads. It's a shared space. The rivers and lakes are shared spaces. You know, got dedicated dinghy sailing clubs or something like that. They can get a bit annoyed if they've got a bunch of swimmers in the lake, you know, interrupting their sailing practice or the regattas or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a bit of a problem, particularly as it becomes more popular.
All the ones that I know that are in open water swimming at the moment are courteous and understanding, all of that side of it, and they realise that we're in shared space. So I suppose it's making sure as the sport grows, that ethos remains both sides. You know, back into the swimmers and from the swimmers as well.
Yeah, that's right.
It's talking to them. Fishermen are another. I mean, fishing's the biggest sport in the world, isn't it? And they all have to have licenses, so you know they see they have priority, and it's working things out between. But one of the challenges, I think, is we've been very lucky. We can just go to a river, we can swim, and places more and more bits of water are kind of being corralled and owned, and this is our lake, and you can only swim in our lake for X price at X time. And more of the that's happening
you're
around, and I think that is a challenge. And I also think there's a challenge in all these groups as they grow and as it becomes more and more common, is that I think there's going to be incidents. There's no regulation really as such, and so you'll find there's very little insurance happening. And I think that's going to be a big challenge in future, because there are going to be a couple of incidents.
You see that in events that you can swim in a bit of water quite literally free, and then if you go and do an event there, it costs you a lot of money, and I understand talking to the organisers, the reason why it costs money is because of the insurances. So if some of these groups are going to have to start holding those insurances, even if they're just sort of third party type insurances, they're going to push up what is a lovely sport that people can just get a costume, get a woolly hat, and off they go. You know?
I mean, sadly, I do think as well, though. I mean, I know we sort of alluded to it earlier on. You do have to be aware of the state of the rivers now as well, and sort of sewage discharge, and it's such a shame. But that is something you do have to be aware of.
I might look into a bit more around that, because I think that's going to help people. Because if it is one of those that people got them, as we said earlier, a misconception or concern about that's stopping them getting into the water or trying it out, let's try and take that away with a bit of knowledge.
I mean, saying that, we do quite a lot of open water swimming, and they've been I can only think of one occasion when we didn't get in, which was a couple of summers ago. But it's just being aware, I think, more than anything else. It's such a shame we have to talk about this, because when you said about challenges and you mentioned fishing, I was going to mention the time that you got caught by a fisherman.
Yes, I literally
got reeled in.
I literally got hooked. They're in my thigh, and I suddenly thought, oh, what's that? And like there was line.
He thought he had a massive
and the hook actually went in my skin and came out the other side. So I was kind of floating there, saying, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to unhook myself." Yeah.
And when he got home, he said it was this big.
But it got away.
Broke the line.
That's one of the little rivalries. You get lots of, within open water, there's lots of funny little rivalries like wetsuiters and non-wetsuiters. But it's friendly. It's all, we all know it's friendly. I mean, but there's also that between anglers and swimmers, isn't there, as well? There's the love-hate. One way, I'd say. One way. We get in there.
It's just being respectful of each other, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Well, as I say, this thing about the sewage, I think, becomes the unifying factor, isn't it?
Yes.
It doesn't help either.
No. Very true.
Safety precautions, then.
We've got an expert. We've got an expert sitting right here.
It's like being in an exam, I suppose. No, safety is know your water. Never swim in water you're not familiar with. It's the water safety code. Go with other people. Tell people where you are.
Right.
You want to know the water, know the tides, know the flow of the water. Check where you're getting in, know where you can get out. River, lakes are fairly easy. The sea is usually easy, but rivers can have paths and reeds and trees, and you can't get out for a long time. So it knowledge, and go with people that know what they're doing. Get to know the water first, and then before you.
Yeah, I suppose I hadn't really thought about that. How you're going to get out is crucial, isn't it?
Yeah.
It sounds simple, but it's crucial.
You need a recce, good recce, if you're not sure.
Because you can swim down quite a way, then suddenly realise that maybe I've swum a bit too long or a bit too far.
Yeah.
But if you can't get out at that point, well, you've got to carry on or find a way back. That's really good advice. The area that I'd like to explore a bit more, because you do an open water teacher's course, don't you, at the moment?
Yeah, it's open water swimming coaching. It's a 3-day course run by the Swimming Teachers Association, STA.
Is that a new organisation? Or been around?
No, they've been around. I think they've just had their 75th anniversary. I hope I'm not going to get into trouble here.
Fairly new then.
There's two. Yeah, fairly new. Yeah, it's less than a century.
Yeah.
You can tell I've not done any teaching.
There's two basically bodies in Britain, and that's Swim England and the STA.
I've heard of Swim England because they do the water polo as well.
Yeah, the Swim England I think their expertise, in my personal opinion, is competitive stuff.
I wouldn't disagree.
Clubs and competitive. When it comes to your learn to swim, I would say STA are on it. They're extremely proactive and are international as well. So they do international programs.
Right.
And I train up swimming teachers and just branched into the open water coaching. Right. So yeah, good fun. Starts with swimmers who at a minimum can swim 200 metres in a swimming pool.
Right.
So those swimmers at 200 metres are reasonably competent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the coaching can kick in and come in as a novice, somebody who's a pool swimmer but is now transitioning, wants to try open water, right up to eventers who can be doing Ironman, triathlons, channel swimming. It's huge. I mean, the subject is vast, and it's covering freshwater, seawater, tidal, non-tidal. And so within the qualification, it's made very clear to people that are training that they're only qualified and will only be insured within environments that they are familiar with. So if you're always down in the sea and that's where you swim, and you decide that you're going to shoot off and do stuff in the rivers, then you might get into a bit of trouble if you had an incident with your insurance. So this
is the regulation
clear
bit.
On that.
This is the regulation bit that you can see evolving from that.
Yeah.
side
So well, I mean, the qualification is off-qual regulated. Qualification. It's level 2 qualification. So it's very, very clear within that what you can and can't do.
Good. So where's your favourite spots? Where do you say you regularly go? Is it Frensham?
If it's local, I mean, I love. Can I say Shepperton Lake? I do love. I don't know if you can advertise. I'm not advertising, but I mean that's been open.
It's my favourite one as well.
Yeah,
it's my favourite training one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think that was it about 2010 when I remember when we first used to go down, and it was a really small concern, and it's absolutely exploded like in the last few years. Yeah. But as to go down and have a swim on my own, it feels safe. You've got safety kayakers, all that sort of thing. And I like the crew down there. I like the people. You always have you'll always see someone that you know down there often when you're getting changed. So it's quite a sociable thing. Other places where we swim where you don't have to pay and we go in a group, Chertsey Mead, Frensham Ponds.
Yeah, I've never been to any of those.
Might go down to Shoreham, Brighton. Deb has recently introduced me to Durley in Bournemouth for sea swimming, Durley, which is gorgeous.
Yeah, Bournemouth. Yeah. Beaches.
That's one of your favourites, is it?
I've actually bought a place down there now. You've got 6-7 kilometres of just beautiful gold sand.
It is.
Beautiful open bay.
It's amazing.
It's a perfect swimming, socially, leisurely, training, anything.
And there's lots of nice bars where you can go and get something to eat and drink once you've had a big swim.
Absolutely.
It's a really good place.
Yeah.
What's the most unique place you've been to anywhere? A bit quirky?
I'd like to, I know Deb's going to have some big... But recently when I was sailing across the Atlantic and we stopped off at Santa Helena Island...
Did you know, so just drop that one in?
I know.
I was just sailing across the...
I know, socially she didn't take me on.
I went out for a packet of crisps and I found myself sailing...
From Cape Town to Namibia to Santa Helena to Brazil, And on the seafront in the harbour of Jamestown, there's a 25-metre swimming pool. And so I got up really early one morning and walked, because it's pretty vertiginous where I was staying all the way down, and went and had a swim in that pool, that was pretty cool. God, and what I really wanted, I was told that you could get swimming hats with South Atlantic swimmers on them. from this particular shop, and it's a strange island because the shops are only full once the cargo ship's been, and that's only once every 5 weeks, and then the shelves get empty. And so I went to the shop, and sadly there weren't any caps with South Atlantic swimmers on, because that would have been cool. But I think we also went to the Hebrides, out to Hebrides together last year, and that was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was really beautiful.
How warm was that?
What was it, about 14?
It actually, for them, was quite warm.
Yeah.
About 14.
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty stunning, wasn't it? But
Absolutely stunning.
But I mean, you've done some incredible swims
Yeah,
in Robben Island and
Robben Island, love. Robben Island to Cape Town. Absolutely beautiful swim. To swim along just looking at Table Mountain.
Yeah.
Have a pod of 500, 1,000 dolphins swim
Really?
by.
As many as those?
it's really so rich, the coast around there. When we were sailing up there, it was amazing.
Delayed start for swimming because there was a couple of whales kind of frolicking around. You know,
Sunfish as well. You
sunfish, penguins, you name it, they were all there. I loved Bled. I loved swimming Slovenia at Bled. I've been
Okay.
twice now to the International World Winter
Yes.
Swimming
Yes, I remember you saying those.
Championship. So that's January. It's cold, but so beautiful.
So that's a to me that's a different league of swimming, different type of swimming
Yeah.
in itself from the ice
Yeah,
swimming.
the
That's
ice swimming.
that's definitely one I want to explore as well on
Yeah.
those ones, because it's starting to grow, isn't it?
Oh,
People sort of,
gosh.
they find
Yeah.
I remember when it first came out. I don't know, it first came on my radar about, I don't know, probably 10 years ago. I know that Scandinavian countries have been doing it for probably hundreds of years, but within the UK, wasn't it? We had I remember doing the first cold water champs at 2008, I think it was, in Tooting. I remember doing it.
Tooting Beck, yeah.
And then I sort of tried it, did it, silly hat, all that sort of bubble hat to keep yourself warm. And it was fine. But then, since then, obviously my concentrations went up to other things, but since then, I've been keeping the monitor of it. It's just exploded.
Yeah.
Just exploded.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember when we were kids and there'd always be the crazy people on Christmas Day getting into the Serpentine and the BBC would be there, and now it's just standard almost, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the reporters are getting in with them. They're all there, so it's all good.
Yeah.
The Christmas Day ones and everything.
I think, my absolute still best swim ever, the most beautiful water I've ever been in is Easdale Tarn.
All right.
That water, when you climb to the top,
That was incredible.
was just, it was like swimming in Evian, bottled from wherever it comes, French. I mean, just beautiful, so clear. You could just, every time you put your hand in, you could just see the kind of skin and muscles kind of moving with the water.
It was amazing.
And it was
Where would your perfect social outdoor swim be?
Do you know,
Could be
I've
anywhere,
had to really think about this.
I know.
Well, I have thought about it, and only a few years ago we were in Patagonia, and in the Andes there are some amazing lakes.
Right.
And they are miles and miles and miles away from anywhere, and they are this extraordinary azure blue, really, really blue.
Right.
I haven't seen any lakes anywhere else that colour, and to get into one of those lakes and go for a swim with a bunch of mates.
That blue?
I'm not sure.
So literally just clear with the sand. At the bottom
I
of the
think it is
skies.
incredible. Some of them are quite rocky, and I don't know. And I think if there's a lot of blue sky, so there's a lot of that reflection as well. But it's just incredible colours, and they're really remote, and the scenery's stunning.
I would love, love, love to do. There's a Great Barrier Reef organised swim, and I would love to do that.
That sounds good.
I think.
Is the one?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. There's an official. They do some official swim. I can't remember where it is or what, but.
Okay, and so you got a celebrity you can take along with them to your perfect swim.
Yeah, it wouldn't
Sort
be a
of
celebrity
perfect,
for me,
Oh,
I'm afraid.
Go on in.
It would be my dad.
Oh, right.
Because
okay.
Dad introduced me to swimming and really encouraged my love of water, and he's not so good now, and he's still really, really interested he loves hearing about all of our swimming exploits.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, we did the 555K a couple of weeks ago, and I was sort of telling him about it. And
You did the
the swimathon, yeah.
Oh, you did the triple?
Yeah. Yeah, Deb made us.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. It sounds,
I didn't make you.
She did. It was.
Deb prods
But we
people
were
to do
very
everything,
proud of
yeah.
ourselves once we'd done it. But I was telling Dad about it, and he, bless him, and he was saying, you know, he said, oh, we should have been alongside you, Sue, or we should have been alongside you swimming. And so if I could get my dad and swim with my dad, that'd just be the best.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not that.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm the same in a way. I have no desire to swim with any celebrity. History is something, if you talk to anyone in my family, I have no interest in history. I love science and I love future, and what I would like is to win the lottery and take like about half a dozen friends and some family, whoever wants to come, and just go on a couple of an amazing swimming. Maybe the Australia, the Barrier Reef, maybe, have Vietnam on my radar. The Lofoten, Norwegian islands.
Any tips you got for starting out in social water swimming?
Well, it's just for me. It's just about where you can go with this stuff. So, like as I explained to begin with, I'm not. I've never really swum with a club apart from when I joined Epsom Masters when I was 39. And so I'd say to anyone, like, if you've got an interest in it, and if you're interested and you like the water, just get in and do it. Because once you start to do that, you just end up meeting these incredible people like yourself, like Deb, like so many other people I've met, and you've introduced me to ideas which have then turned into opportunities for me to do something that otherwise I would never have done. And it's incredible, and I'm grateful for that every single day. So... just if you've got the idea and you want to do it, just go out there and do it. And don't worry how far you can swim or what your stroke's like, just go and do it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it.
Or what you look like.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of open water swimming. It's one of the concerns people have, and body image, but seriously, us open water swimmers, we like cake.
Yeah.
And when you're in the water, you're all the same.
Yeah.
And you also become very used to stripping off in a car park.
Yeah. Tall, short, fat, thin, it doesn't matter, because when you're in the water,
That's right.
You're all
the
equal.
water doesn't know, does it?
You're all,
the water doesn't know.
Yeah.
Neither do the ducks.
And I love that. Yeah, I love that.
That's beautiful. Right, okay. A regular feature is called the fictitious swim off. Right?
Okay.
And you had no warning on this.
No.
On this one at all. I'm hoping that you'll enjoy. And I've got an actual answer for this as well.
Oh wow!
Have
Okay.
you?
Yeah, it's a made up one, but we'll see if we can pull it apart. Anyway, look, who would win in a swim off between Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela, and why? Two great.
Well, I'm going to go for Mahatma Gandhi.
What do you think, Linda?
I've got to say Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
I'm Southern African.
Yeah.
You've got it. He's a winner.
Right, this is where I got really technical on this one. I put this into ChatGPT, the AI.
Oh,
we
yeah,
asked the questions. Okay.
Okay.
So we have an answer. It took me 3 goes, actually. It got a little bit shirty with me. It told me that I shouldn't be doing this because there's no evidence to do it. But I said, I know. But if you had to tell
It's
me...
checking itself against disinformation.
So anyway, what it said was, the defining answer is Gandhi would win because he was often seen swimming in the seas and rivers, and in his autobiography, The Story of My Experiments with Truth, he mentions he swam in the sea during his time in South Africa.
Yeah.
And once swam a distance of about 4 kilometres.
Wow.
And then it goes on. It wouldn't let it go. It says, however, it is important to note that this does not necessarily mean that he would be a competitive swimmer.
Gosh, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that, were you?
No.
No.
Oh, well, look, thank you both for great talk. I think you've really helped people, and quite clearly you've got a love for it. It's not going to shorten anytime soon, is it? A love for the water.
I hope not.
No, hope never.
And that's the great thing about it. It can go on and on and on, can't it? And the great work you're doing, Deb, with bringing other swimmers and coaches into it. Wow. So you're encouraging others. So
Deb's got us do a channel relay at the end of June. But that's down to Deb, yeah.
It actually, that Sue had been saying, I'd really like to do that. Okay, let's do it. You want to do it? Let's do it.
when is that one?
In about 4 or 5 weeks, our tide.
Let's come around quick.
Yeah, far too quick.
That's what the 555K was. That was our training session, apparently.
That was the training.
That was it. We've done it now.
You two, we'll have a lot of fun doing that. So maybe come back and share that with us.
Yeah, I'd love to. This has been great. Thanks, Mick.
Yeah,
really
it's been great.
Thank you both for coming. It's been
that's great. Thank you,
It's
Mick.
good
Really
to see you
enjoyed
again
it.
as well.
Lovely. Thank you.
I hope you were just as captivated as I was listening to the two swimmers share their love of the ultimate aquatic adventure. From our discussions, we discovered that outdoor social swimming is more than just a fun pastime. It's a complete mind and body experience that's essential for human well-being. If you haven't tried outdoor social swimming yet, you're missing out. But I hope you'll use this podcast as your gateway and a reason to get into this incredible adventure. Check out the links in the show notes and get started. And if you're already a fan, then please share your joy with others. Spread the word about this life-changing experience and encourage your loved ones to join in the fun. Remember, outdoor social swimming isn't just a hobby. It can be a lifestyle that can unlock a world of adventures. So let's dive in and explore the possibilities that this amazing activity has to offer. To capture the joy of each individual MYSWIM, we have an exclusive bright, fun MYSWIM podcast themed artwork design. If you enjoy the podcast and the guests, we'd appreciate your support to keep these podcasts going, to help spread the knowledge to a wider community. And please check out the designs on www.myswim.uk. Let us know what you want to hear about, and together let's build the community. We really want to positively celebrate and promote all aspects of aquatics, and particularly the mental health benefits that swimming can bring, and we'd love you to be a part of it. Join the community, give us your feedback, follow, and tell us all about your individual MYSWIM.